2 good episodes in a row. This is episode 13 of season 1, The Four of Us Are Dying. A title that makes complete sense when you see the ending. But when you first hear it, does have you scratch your head. Can one man really be 4 people at once? Rod Serling sets the narration again. And I'm really loving the beginning and ending narrations of these episodes. Most anthology shows don't do this. And it seems like when you see these things, I'll put it up on screen, that it's giving away too much information, but it's actually not. It's setting up the scene, because they only have 22 minutes to make an engaging episode, so they don't want to do character development for the first 10 minutes. They'll just tell you, hey, the main character, his name's Archie Hammer. He's 36, and he's a cheap man. Rod Serling's telling you he's a cheap man, a nickel and dime man, with the cheapness that goes past a suit and a shirt. More accurately, Arch Hammer is a con man, and man does he have a good con. You see, he can change his face whenever he feels like it. Now, he does have to think of a face in his mind. He doesn't have some randomly generated dungeon that he could just hit and turn into someone random. He has to think of a face, and it does seem like he has to either see that face initially in order to change into it. We see when the episode opens, he's in a hotel room and he has a bunch of newspaper clippings with different faces that he's going to change into throughout this episode. He's going to take on the identity of 4 men. And this is a great episode to watch twice. When I finished it, I was like, I want to watch it again. I think I missed some things. And these 4 faces that he changes into are played by 4 different characters as well. So the first thing he does is he changes into the face of a deceased musician who played the trumpet by the name of Johnny Foster, because Johnny Foster has a super hot girlfriend, and Arch Hammer wants to steal his girlfriend, who plays the piano and sings at the same club we assume that Johnny Foster used to play the trumpet at. And she's under the impression that he got into a car accident and died, so she is pleasantly surprised when Arch Hammer, impersonating Johnny Foster, because he can change into whatever face he wants to, so he changes into the face of Johnny Foster, shows up to her and starts putting on the moves. And apparently, when you change into this face, you also get his voice as well. But you don't get all of his memories. He kind of has to BS his way through this. Hey, do you remember when we went to the Bahamas 4 years ago? He has to be like, sure, I totally remember that. I think we went snorkeling or something, right? So you get the face, you get the voice, you get some of the mannerisms, but not the actual brain. And so this works. He puts on the moves. And of course, the Twilight Zone episode, I think they're hinting that he wants to sleep with her, but they're not going to say that. He instead plans a vacation that he's going to later go on with her, so he can get this girlfriend all to himself for a long time, and really give her some smooches. So yeah, this guy's a bit of a scumbag. He then takes an even riskier chance. While I laughed when I first saw this, he's about to impersonate a gangster, it works well for the plot. And is, I think, the best part of this episode. Typically the middle drags. In this case, the middle is absolutely great, since he impersonates this gangster who also supposedly died. And what do you know? Shows up to the house of the guy who killed this gangster. Well, he thought he killed him, in order to extort some money out of him. This is quite a risky thing to do, messing with this seedy underbelly of the city. And it doesn't exactly go his way. You can see, as he gets riskier and riskier, I think he might actually get killed at the end. And given the title is The Four of Us Are Dying, you're starting to see where this episode is going. He's impersonating 4 people and taking some big risks. I don't know about you, but I would not impersonate a dead gangster to go to the headquarters of the person that supposedly killed that gangster to try to extort them. And I definitely wouldn't do the first thing. I mean, I would never turn into someone like Travis Kelce and just pretend to date Taylor Swift. I would never do something like that. But look at this episode is really great too. They do something I've never seen before, where this is obviously filmed on a set, but they want to give it a city vibe. So they have the lights that you would see in a city for showgirls, for pubs, but they hang them very, very low. So you get shots like this, where the signs are almost hitting Arch Hammer in the head. This looks fake and artificial, but I think is a good way of conveying that this is a city atmosphere, and once again, it's the Twilight Zone, so they can kind of play around with how this city actually looks, and I think it gives it a unique look, and you're getting the vibe that he's hanging out at the seedier parts of whatever city this is in. Maybe it's a parallel universe. So good job, production design on the Twilight Zone. This gives it a bit of an uncanny valley feel. In order to get away with these gangsters, since they start chasing him, he comes upon the poster of a boxer by the name of Andy Marshak, and that's who he's going to be impersonating for the rest of the episode. But you see, when you impersonate someone, you might run into other people that really don't like this guy. In this case, he runs into Andy Marsek's father, who really hates him. And he's ultimately the one that pulls a gun on him and leads to the title, The Four of Us Are Dying. As he's laying on the ground bleeding, it shows each of the faces that he took on, and the closing narration is very fitting.
He was Arch Hammer, a cheap little man who just chucked in. He was Johnny Foster, who played a trumpet and was loved beyond words. He was Virgil Sterrig with money in his pocket. He was Andy Marshak, who got some of his agony back on a sidewalk in front of a cheap hotel. Hammer, Foster, Sterrig, Marshak, and all four of them were dying.
I'm going to give The Four of Us Are Dying a 7. It's a really solid episode. It's a perfect Twilight Zone fare. And there's so many places you could go with this. Everyone's going to have their favorite parts. I like the gangster part best. Second best, I like when he's talking to the girl and being kind of a scumbag. I would say the part where he's impersonating the boxer and talking to his dad is probably the least engaging. Since it's not super clear what exactly this boxer even did to his dad, it seemed like he abandoned his family, but that means that his dad's going to kill him? I don't know. They could have probably come up with a more engaging backstory for that one, especially because the first person he talks to, the girl, they do a whole backstory about they're going to go on this vacation. He's playing a bit hard to get with her. He convinces her that the reason he didn't come to see her earlier is because he wanted to live a smaller life. He didn't want to be this famous musician anymore. They really thought that went through. And the part with the boxer and the father, which is the most important part, is the climax. You get way less backstory. I don't know, Twilight Zone. Give us The Four of Us Are Dying too. I want to see more of people impersonating other people. And I think it's also hinting on the fact that, in this case, he's impersonating famous people, which is probably what someone would do. They'd be like, I want to be Leonardo DiCaprio for a day. I want to live like Elon Musk. You're probably not going to impersonate the gardener next door, which would lead to a lot of other trouble because they probably have enemies that you don't know about or security concerns you're not aware of. So him impersonating this famous musician and this famous boxer is, I believe, making that point. Watch this episode, in fact watch it twice, because it's better on the second viewing, because you can follow along each time he changes into these new characters, because he does it so quickly, and will do it when he's being chased, will do it when someone follows him outside the bar, he'll just turn around and have a different face. And we have some fun facts. They actually mention, and I'm so glad that they didn't do this, that his four personalities, Hammer, Foster, Sterrig, and Marshank, have been planned to be performed by a sole actor using different makeup. Terrible idea. The production crew timed the planned scene and noted his time wearing makeup would exceed that of him in front of the camera, so 4 actors were used. Yeah, they're probably trying to save money, because they do have to hire 4 separate actors to play this lead role. But all 4 characters look very different, so trying to do some type of makeup effects would not have worked. I don't think so. Unless they changed it to an alien or something. And the Twilight Zone intriguing titles continue. The next episode being Third from the Sun. Not Third Rock from the Sun, just Third from the Sun. Another episode dealing with the apocalypse. Nuclear weapons had only been around for about 15 years when this episode came out, so, you know, people were still scared of them, but now we're just kind of used to them. I'm sure everything will work out fine. And check out our playlist for the other series we've covered. Monsters, Fear Itself, Pet Shop of Horrors, Cowboy Bebop, Mystery Science Theater 3000, Black Mirror, and Are You Afraid of the Dark? Thanks a lot.